Hello, my sewing friends. This is Friday Sews. I'm Jen, and this is my sewing room. And I have a lot to tell you about this week. Oh my goodness. So I'm gonna jump right in with the sewing, and then I'll get to a couple of things about life. I decided to make Vogue 8294. This is from 1992, and it was a free pattern that was given to me by Trish at Pinky's Farm. I loved this neckline. I decided to make this one, which is view A. So I went ahead and I made it. And I made the size 14 out of this fabric, which is a Walmart bundle that I got a couple of years ago. And I've always loved it, and I thought this needs the perfect top. So I decided this was. So I went ahead and made this, and it was too small. And the neckline came up almost as high as this one does, probably about right here. And I decided I wanted it lower because if you look on this illustration, that comes pretty low. I mean, her collarbones are showing in the whole 9 yards. So it was too small. The armholes were too tight, and I thought, no, that's not going to work. So I decided I had enough fabric, I would make two. So I made another one, and I cut the neckline lower. I redrew the little sweetheart part, the point, and then I didn't like it, so I went back in and fixed it and made it more like the pattern. I didn't think it looked enough like a sweetheart, and then I thought, yes, it does. So that's this one, and yeah, it actually that one's the one the second one I made. This is the first, but it's much better. I made a size 16, took a 1/2 inch seam allowance, and I can't remember if I lowered the armhole or not. I think I did not, but because it was the bigger size, it worked. So this has an all-in-one armhole and neckline facing. They tell you to do it in the way where you stitch these armholes with it flat, and you connect it by leaving the shoulder seams open, and then you connect them that way. I hate that way. I can never get it right. It never looks good. So I just did the burrito method because it's the greatest thing that was ever invented by probably some quilter. I don't know, but I love it, and it works every time. So that's what I did with that. So that was that. Then I decided, because I didn't really have anything to go with that, I would make Simplicity 8848. This is from 2019. I originally bought the pattern for the wrap top, but I like these pants because see how that waistband is done? Yeah, I really like that it's flat in the front and then goes around and is elastic. So I went ahead and cut it. I'm going along. It's 11 o'clock, almost midnight, and I thought, well, I'll just see if I can get these along far enough, or maybe even finish them tonight. I'll just stay up. So I'm going along. You sew the front to the back, the front to the back, and then you sew them together at the crotch seam. And I'm going right along, and I was serging. I got this side, one side serged, and I was serging the other one, and I'm going along, and I got around the pocket, and then it got bunched up under my serger, and I didn't realize, and I went just about that far, and I realized, look, this got caught. And I thought, oh, shoot, maybe I can just take it out. And I thought, please, please, please don't let the knife have cut that. It did. Daggone it. This fabric is, I just had it in my stash. I'm pretty sure I got it at a Joann's that was going out of business. It is polyester, but it's not really crepe. Well, maybe it's crepe. It has a little bit of a texture to it, but it feels soft, and it feels like it's got some rayon in it. So anyway, so I had cut these not at the length that the pattern calls for, which is ankle length, because I look horrible in that length because I always wear flat shoes. I don't have any heels. Well, actually I do. I just bought some. But yeah, they look terrible on me. So I had cut it 6 inches longer. Well, I had enough fabric to cut a new one, a new front and a back, and 2 more pockets. But the piece I had left over, it was 60 wide, so I had enough because of that. But look at the difference in the length. Do you see how much that is? Dang it. I was so mad. I'm still so mad at myself that that happened. So it looks like I'm going to crop them off and have just capris or that length, because what else am I going to do? I could use another crepe that I have, but I don't want to because I like that crepe. Okay, moving on. The Mizono dress, the Lynn Mizono dress, Vogue, I think it's 1312. I have the skirt. I was looking for fabric for the bodice, and you all had some great suggestions. I went back through and found some comments. Robin Landtroop said, the dress that you need the bodice for, have you thought of a ditzy print? You know how I love me a ditzy print. Think the small floral might be a good mix if you can get the right blue in the florals. Also, Kim Diamond said, how about a floral bodice? You people are geniuses, geniuses. I thought that is so smart. And so I went looking for some kind of a ditzy print. And I didn't find anything I liked, but I loved the idea. Then I went on Etsy, and guess what I found? I can't believe I found this, and now it's got pieces of stuff all over it. The only trouble is it's a little bit lighter. Can you see the color difference there? It's not so much that I care, to be honest, but it's the same fabric. I did check with my friend Heather. Her channel is called Textile Tailored Thoughts, and she looked everywhere. If it had been in Joann's anywhere in their system, she would have found it because she's like that. But she said, no, it's been discontinued, so dang it. That's okay, because I found it on Etsy. I got 2 yards, and I'm going to use this. So problem solved. And then the blankie. I talked about this last week. My daughter has a blankie. It's falling apart. She asked me to rescue it another time. I'm like, for the second time. And I said, all right. I cut it a little bit smaller. I cut off all the really bad bits around the edges. I still have a pretty decent sized baby blanket. Okay, here is why I love comments. This is why I love comments, because you can read these too and you can get great suggestions. Cheryl Vitosh said, I made my daughter's baby blanket into a pillow when the fabric got worn through. Great idea, except she wanted a blankie, and I knew she wanted a blankie, and I thought if I suggest a pillow, she's not gonna like that. In fact, I did suggest it, and she said no, she wanted a blankie. So yeah, great idea in most situations, but for this particular one, it wasn't gonna work. I still think it's a great idea. Then Leslie Ayers said, the best way I can think of preserving the blankie is to put iron-on interfacing onto the back of it to stabilize the knit fabric before backing it with a new fabric. Hope this helps. Yes. And then Hermione Hahn said, hi, for your daughter's blanket, you could use stretch interfacing on the whole piece of the original fabric to strengthen it, then put a new backing on it. Genius. Genius. Thank you so, so much. I used Easy Knit interfacing. I'll link it below. And I backed the original fabric, and it saved it. I'm not kidding, it saved it. And then I got the bright idea for the backing, to fuse some heat and bond to that so that I could fuse it then to the original fabric, and it would all stick together and I wouldn't have to worry about it pulling apart. And it made it too stiff. Threw it in the washer, threw it in the dryer, and still too stiff. So believe it or not, I was able to peel it off, because that heat and bond had stuck to the interfacing. And I even got heat and bond adhesive on my ironing board, which I'll tell you about that in a minute. So I peeled it off, put another piece of backing on, and then I didn't want to do this initially, but I thought there's not going to be any good way to line this up so that I get a decent, without it bunching up, and I'm going to serge the edges. So I did. And what I did was stitched basting stitches all through it, kind of like quilting would be. And that was fine. That solved that problem. So you can tell it's all stitching. I mean, it's all staying together. It's not like one piece of fabric isn't longer than the other one, and yeah, that kind of thing. So I am going to put a binding on. Another person that I did not write down put you should use a fat binding for that, and I'm going to. I showed it to Michaela. She said she loves it. She loves the way that it feels. It's not too stiff. It's perfect. So perfect. Thank you so much. Easy knit Easy knit interfacing. I'll link it below. Like I said, it'll be down in the Notions I Love part. Couple of other comments that I wanted to share with you. Joyce Kirsch says, Jen, you say you don't dry your clothes after the initial wash/dry. So do you hang them on hangers to dry? Sometimes, not usually. I usually don't even care. Like the linen I used for that color blocked Vogue dress, the Marcy Tilton, I forget the number, but I just threw that in the dryer because I don't want to mess around with fussy clothing. And then she says, seems like you predominantly use woven, so that must mean you do a fair amount of ironing, or possibly you use a steamer. I do a lot of ironing. I don't iron everything on laundry day. She says, I have a good iron and I use it during construction, but I hate the grind of ironing on laundry day. Well, I don't do that. I mean, I iron things as I want to wear them, which is not always a good thing because sometimes I'm in a hurry. But you know what? I don't care. I like the wovens. I like, you know, if I have to iron it, I have to iron it. I do like it smooth and pressed. I like for my clothing to look good when I wear it. So yeah, I don't have a steamer, but my iron will do steam, but a steam just doesn't do it for me. I mean, unless it's a knit that I know the wrinkles are going to fall out of, I don't think it works the way I want it to. So there you go. Let's see. Anne, I cannot pronounce your last name. I tried. I can't do it. So if you want to give me a phonetic spelling of it, that would be great. And I'll spell it for you. Guglielmino. I'm not even going to try, but it's very Italian, I think. One of my favorite channels is called Get It Done Quilts. I don't quilt either, but I so enjoy her. She has such good info on sewing room organization, machine care, iron care. I know no one talks about iron care. How to use a rotary cutter, among other generic helpful sewing stuff. So much good info out there from a variety of sources. Totally agree. That's why I brought up the sewing channel last week. She's delightful. I'm going to go check her out. Yeah, thank you. And then Sandra O'Brien said, could you show us how to do piping, Jen? This is because I did piping on the jumpsuit that I made for my daughter. Let's see. McCall's, how do I not know this number by heart? 4824. It's a Laura Ashley pattern from the 1990s. I think it is 1990. And I put piping on it because I think it looks nice. And yes, I will be happy to show you how I do that. It's very easy. I also want to show you how to do a zipper, a non-invisible zipper, the easy ones. Because I see people who do this and it drives me bonkers because it's not supposed to show. I know it's not an invisible zipper, so it doesn't close up the seam, but it's supposed to be coming together in such a way that it looks like a seam. And I'm going to show you here. I'm wearing one. See how you can't see that zipper coil? If you do it right, you shouldn't be able to see it. And you don't have to fuse, you know, whatever that stuff is. I can't remember. Steam a seam. You don't have to use that. Don't have to use pins. I don't use pins. You probably should use pins. You don't have to baste it. None of that. You can do it, you know, not even 5 minutes, and you can have a zipper in just using your zipper foot and a regular zipper, not an invisible zipper. I used to be afraid of those, but now I'm totally fine with them, and I use them most of the time. But it doesn't have to show. Now on craft projects like little pouches, little bags, yeah, it probably might show. I mean, because of the way you sew that. But this is in crafts. This is clothing, and it shouldn't be visible. So I'll show you how to do that, and I'll show you how to do piping. On the live front, Trish is coming. Trish from Pinky's Farm, who is one of my best friends. She's coming to stay with me for a weekend. She's coming not this weekend, but next weekend. And we are going to have a blast. I'm so excited that she's going to come. So we're going to go thrifting with Michelle from Michelle Sews Again. And we're going to have a blast. I just know we're going to have a blast. It's going to be fabulous. A lot of sitting on the lanai and drinking coffee and yakking for hours, solving all of the world's problems. So I'm hoping to share some of that with you. If I can't share it with you on Friday, then I will do that on Sunday. My birthday is Thursday. This is a no big deal birthday. I don't want anybody making a big deal of it. That's not always the case. Sometimes I like my birthday being a big deal. I love surprises. There are 4 people in my family out of the 7 of us that don't like surprises. So, but I'm one of the ones that does. A lot of times I like having my birthday being a big deal. Let's go out to dinner and, do presents and all that kind of thing. My family gets on me all the time because I never have any gift suggestions. I can never think of anything because everything I want, I buy. I have it all. I don't need anything. So anyway, it's this Thursday, and I told my husband, do not make a big deal out of it. And he did. We had a discussion about this, discussion about this. And I told him I didn't want a big deal made out of it. And he said, okay. And yet we're going away for it overnight. Whatever. I'll fill you in on Sunday if I get a chance. That's it for everything of mine. The talking points this week are that Mayflowers, the saying goes, April showers bring May flowers bring June brides. So with that in mind, or if you're a kid in the 3rd grade, you say Mayflowers bring pilgrims. Yeah. Anyway, that's only if you live in the U.S., I guess. June brides. Are you going to a wedding in June? Are you going to a wedding this summer at all? If you are, what are you wearing? Are you going to make something special? Are you using specialty fabrics that are going to challenge you or drive you crazy or are going to look fantastic? I don't have any weddings coming up. I've kind of gone beyond that stage of life, and I don't live near any of my friends that would want to invite me to their child's wedding. So yeah, not for me. I did an Easter dress that was specialty fabrics that I've never talked about. I still need to do a pattern review on that. So yeah, but let me know if you have something like that you're working on. And that's it for Friday Sews. I love talking to you in comments. Let's talk about all this stuff in comments. As always, if you would like to see a whole playlist of my Friday Sews, just check right over here. And I will see you next time. Have a great weekend. Take care. And thanks for watching. And as my friend Rich always said, be good and be God's.